Hey, this is Pastor Micah from Life's Journey, United Church of Christ, coming to you with a reflection here, a midweek reflection for you all. Before I go into my devotional proper, I want to remind everyone of the announcement I sent out in the beginning of the week when I met with our church leaders earlier this week. As a group, we discussed how many people in our community are coming down sick with COVID. Though we prefer meeting face to face, we decided to move worship back to all online via Zoom and Facebook Live until the end of January, just to give us all a chance to have this current surge of COVID cases die down. We don't want any of our members who are at higher risk of getting sick, being hospitalized, or worse from COVID, being put at risk. Let's all do our part to keep each other safe and also pray for this surge to die down quickly. This past Sunday, we were blessed to have the Reverend Eddie Weathers, our Associate Conference Minister over our association in the United Church of Christ, come and bring a powerful message about our need to live into the unity Christ prays for all people to experience in John 17, when he prayed for all to be one as he and God the Father are one. Reverend Weathers reflected on the unique way Martin Luther King lived this calling out and the challenge for us to be people as Christians who work to push beyond divisions based on fear and hatred, race and class, sexual orientation, and gender or gender identity. For me, at least, to hear Reverend Weathers reminded me of how this challenge is ongoing. One of my favorite theologians used to say, the kingdom is always but coming. In other words, we always have a further way we can help work for this dream to be fulfilled. This coming week, we will be looking at another text in John from early in Jesus's ministry. In this text, we will look at the story of Jesus turning water into wine and also his blessing a couple through this act as they begin their journey as a married couple. I think about this story every time as a minister I perform a wedding. Here, Jesus shows God's presence in the ordinary, the everyday, not in some sacred temple way off there, but in people breaking bread together, people drinking and singing and dancing, people promising to have and to hold each other every day. I think through what through line connects Reverend Weather's challenge last week and the text we will be thinking about this week. I am reminded of a recording I recently listened to of one of Reverend Martin Luther King's mentors, the late Howard Thurman, whose teaching and preaching inspired Dr. King's own vision and dreams. In the talk, Howard Thurman is going through a series about what it means to grow in obeying the command Jesus gives to love. Howard Thurman says that we not only must love God with all we have, not only must love our neighbor as ourselves, but that we can do neither of these things unless we first learn to love ourselves. Thurman says that as we are made by God, anyone or anything that says to us that we are second rate, disposable, or less than does violence to God and dishonors the Creator. To love God, we have to learn to accept ourselves just as we are. He quips that, as Abraham Lincoln once said, God could have made me a more handsome man, but he didn't. And I've got to learn to accept and make the most of who he did make, because God knew what God was doing. You can see how such words meant much to Thurman and to his students who were black, like Dr. King, when they lived in a world which treated black people as second rate, unable to go to the same stores, attend the same schools, earn the same income, work the same jobs as white people. All around them, the message was, you are insignificant, unimportant, worthless. Thurman said, no. The first step in your spiritual journey is to realize God made you and God does not make any junk. Anyone who says otherwise about anybody is not picking a fight with you or with them, but with their Creator. Dr. King expressed this sentiment in his own sermon, saying, all I'm saying this morning is that we must feel that we count, that we are persons, that we are children of the living God. And it means that we go down in our soul and find that somebodyness. We must never again be ashamed of ourselves. We must never be ashamed of our heritage. We must not be ashamed of the color of our skin. Black is as beautiful as any color, and we must believe it. And so every black person in this country must rise up and say, I'm somebody. I have a rich, proud, and noble history. However painful and exploited it has been, I am black, but I am black and beautiful. At another point, he expresses this by saying, whenever men and women straighten their backs up, they are going somewhere, because a man can't ride your back unless it is bent. This message is true too for people whose difference is not skin color. During the last presidential election, one of our first openly gay candidates for president, he might be the first one, but I've not read the history of it, Pete Buttigieg, was challenged about whether being gay made him unworthy to lead. He answered, if you have a problem with who I am, your problem is not with me. Your quarrel sore is with my Creator. I feel that as we continue to journey in faith together, we are challenged to consider in what ways we have been believing the lies that we aren't, that we can't, that we are not good enough. I want to challenge each of you to recognize that ultimately you and I need to quit quarreling with our Creator about who we are and accept that who we are is a gift. Likewise, we need to put aside the spectacles of judgment that color how we look at others and learn to look at those around us with different personalities, different backgrounds, different passions, different skin colors, different genders, or ways of expressing gender. Folks who marry people different than we would, or who choose not to marry at all. Not with judgment, not with pity, not with condemnation, but with wonder and with amazement. The same God who put the planets in orbit, who scattered the stars through the sky, who made the rivers run and the oceans roar, make them too. We can see them as God sees them. We know they too have a precious purpose, as do we all. Not a one of us are throwaways. Each of us matter. Let's believe it and live it today and always. Amen. Amen. Hope to see you on Zoom or on Facebook Live this weekend. God bless you.